How are you doing, Jaden?
I'm doing great.
All right. Okay, everybody. This is Jaden Spanier. He's here to teach a wicked lesson on Seven Nation Army. I'm excited to have him here in the studio.
I'm excited to be here.
You're a drum pioneer.
I am. I invented the drums, actually.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah, he was. No, don't be modest here. It was a covered wagon journey many, many moons ago when Jaden was on it, and he conceived it. He had just. Anyways.
I ended up settling here.
Yeah.
You could call me a settler as well as a pioneer.
Yeah. Hunter gatherer.
I'm
And
pretty
basically
resourceful.
just savant.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like the Forrest Gump of drums.
Yeah. He just runs to the
I can't help myself. The drums, they're calling.
Run, Forrest, run.
And you may be watching this video because the drums are calling you. If you're not already a student at the school, potentially one of my students. In which case, this is a song you could potentially do for a future concert, or just a good one to put in your vocabulary because it's a very popular song from the 2000s, and it's got a real simple but solid drum part and parts to it. So I'll kick it off with some background on the song. You obviously want to be able to count properly for each song you try and learn. And this song's a good one for practicing your counting while playing, or just counting in general and counting bars, because most of this song is just a strong quarter note pulse, which means you're counting just 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. As opposed to, eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and of course 16th notes, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. This is just nice and quarter notes in the pocket. And you'll notice how the drum part for the majority of this song follows that. So a good way to break this song down is to take it into sections, right? You may have heard the term chorus or verse or intro or whatever before, and they all have a certain amount of bars in them. And you'll notice these bars are usually in multiples of 4. So 4, 8, 16, 32. That's the extent of my math. I only learned to count in fours because I'm a musician. So we'll start off with the intro, and the intro is you hear that famous anthemic guitar riff. Da 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 da. So if you're counting that, you're counting da 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 da. Right? So that's 4 bars right there. The intro is going to be a total of 8 bars, and the drums are going to come in halfway through that. So the drums are going to come in on bar 4. So you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, in 2, 3, 4. And the first groove in the song is this. It's going to be floor tom and bass drum both playing the quarter note 1, 2, 3, 4 in unison. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and simple, but don't overthink like, right? You wanna play it with a good amount of feeling and intention because it's the driving pulse of the song. So some good tips to really drive this home, focus on hitting the floor tom in the center. Toms are very sensitive to sound. Like if I'm hitting the corner and different corners, it's going to sound like, it's not going to sound as solid. Where you want to get where you're going to get the best sound is in the center of the floor tom. And you want to be as consistent with that as possible. Cool. So that's the first groove of the song. And if you want to take that to the next level, like that's the meat and potatoes. If you want to add all the nice parts to make it full, you're going to be adding your left foot as well with the quarter notes. So following the exact thing as your right leg and your right hand are doing. So floor tom and bass drum. This may be a bit more difficult for coordination since you're involving your left foot. You know, a lot of left foot independence doesn't come in until, you know, maybe you're a few lessons in, but this is the perfect song to get started on that because eventually it's going to be a major player in the drum game, your left foot. So it would be like this. It really adds to the song, and there's a reason they're playing that. It's a nice percussive element that fits in perfectly with what's going on. If you think about, you know, maybe you might think it's challenging because your left foot, you haven't done a lot with it yet. But you think about it, if it's playing the exact same thing as your bass drum, you're basically just stomping your 2 feet at the same time, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So that's the main part for the intro. So this part is going to continue until the verse starts. And that's the verse starting is when the singer comes in. So you're playing 1, 2, 3, 4 4 times, and then the intro starts, and then the verse starts, and you're going to continue with that groove until halfway through the verse. So if the verse is 16 bars, the first 8 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, are that groove, much like the last 4 bars of the intro. So halfway through the verse is when the snare comes in. So the snare is a common place for a snare to be in almost all modern music from the 60s till now is 2 and 4. It's the most natural feeling in the world. It's where everybody's supposed to clap along to music. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a helpful way to think about it. It's basically the exact same groove as this, but you're adding the snare on 2 and 4. So it would be like this. Okay? And that's with the left hi-hat. The left hi-hat you want to keep there. If not, you're not ready for left hi-hat, you can stick to this. Still gets the job done. Some tips for the snare. Like the floor tom, you're always going to want to aim for the center. And if you want that nice rock snare drum sound, and this is a rock song, you're going to want to add what's called a rim shot. So a rim shot is when you're hitting the center of the drum with the tip as well as you're about halfway or 3/4 of the stick to make a nice pop sound. See how you get that nice crack compared to just snare center? So you're comparing non-rim shot to rim shot. So I would go for a rim shot if you can figure that out based on what I told you for all the snare parts in this song. So verse 16 bars. So you're counting to 4 16 times, but a good way to follow along with form is just knowing the song, right? It's not like in every song I'm thinking, okay, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 whatever, you know, just it's good for starting to learn the form. This is a very logical form. It has a very natural progression feel to it, and just knowing the way the riffs are and the vocals, that'll be your best friend at getting through the song and knowing what's coming up. So after the verse, which is 16 bars, there's a bit of a pre-chorus, but also could be considered, you know, the build-up. That's where it's starting to build into the chorus, thus it's a pre-chorus. So you're going to go from this groove, right, ending the verse, and you're going to crash on 1. You can crash with your right hand or your left. It might feel a bit weird to crash with your left, but I'm crashing with my left because then I'm going to be playing tom number 2 and floor tom for the pre-chorus. So I'll play 1 bar of the verse, so 1 2 3 4 into the pre-chorus. So 1 2 3 4. Okay, so that pre-chorus part, again, quarter notes, but this time you're going to add the tom 2, and you're going to be crashing on every one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 into the chorus. Cool? So again, I'll play the last bar of the verse, and I'll play the entire pre-chorus. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then we're in the chorus, okay? So chorus is going to be a bit trickier. You can abandon the 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bass drum. You can just play 1 and 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to be using your crash and your snare to make up most of the groove. And the groove's going to sound like this. Right? And again, you can add the hi-hat with that. Okay? And that chorus is going to be 8 bars. So again, counting to 4, 8 times. Where the tricky part of this song comes in, probably the most challenging part, is that there's what's called a quarter note triplet that occurs every 4 bars. So the quarter note triplet, you would basically count it like this: 1, 2, triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4. And like the quarter note in this song, the theme is, the drums are following exactly what's happening during that count, and it follows the riff. The chorus and the riff changes a bit, so it goes from da 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 da, and that's where the drums would follow that da 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 triplet da. So I'll play what the whole part's supposed to sound like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's that. Coming out of the chorus, again, is going to be that pre-chorus thing. Falls is the same. It's the exact same as the pre-chorus, but we'll call it a post-chorus because it's happening after the chorus. And it's played the exact same way. So I'll play the last 4 bars of the chorus, the last bar of the chorus into the post-chorus. Cool? Nice and simple. So after the post-chorus, you're going to let that crash ring out. So whole post-chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because that's when that intro thing happens again. So it starts to follow a bit of a pattern. So then it's going to go into what I'll call the re-intro, which is going to happen for 8 bars once again, and the drums are going to come in halfway through. So it'll go to this groove again. And then the singing is going to start, so you're going to be continuing with this. And then halfway through the verse, so halfway through when the singing starts, again, you're going to go into the floor tom beat with the snare. Following that, again, it's going to go into your pre-chorus. And then from that, it's going to go into the double chorus. So a common thing in a lot of pop songs is to do a double chorus, which is basically, chorus times 2. It adds a more exciting effect because the chorus is part everybody sings. But funny enough, in this song, the chorus is literally just a guitar riff, which is pretty cool. Another interesting thing is this isn't even the last chorus of the song, so they decide to do a double chorus in the second out of 3. So basically, if the chorus is 8 bars, the double chorus would be 16 bars, but nothing in the actual beat changes. It's still this chorus beat. Cool. So once again, after those 16 bars, you're going to go into a post-chorus. And then again into a re-intro. Dun, 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 dun. So you're letting that crash ring out. And then again, coming in after 4 bars. So halfway through the re-intro. And then once again into the verse, which is, again, 16 bars. So 16 bars. So after the double chorus, once again, you're going to go into the post-chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you let that crash ring out because that intro part's going to happen again. So dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. And the singing's going to start again, so continue with this groove. And then once again, halfway through that verse as well, you're going to come in with the snare groove. So 8 bars of this when the singing starts, and then 8 bars of this halfway through. Once again, after that, going into the pre-chorus. And then into the chorus groove. The chorus is this time returns back to 8 bars, but then you have to be prepared for the ending. So after the 8 bars, the ending is going to be on 1. So So I'd encourage you to try and count along with that. I'll try a take right now of me literally counting the chorus and ending it on 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay, so you're gonna let that crash ring out a bit. The song's not over quite yet because there's a bit of silence, but then there's a nice hit at the end to wrap a ribbon on the rest of the song. Very common thing in rock songs. It's kind of hard to follow along with in recordings because most of the time when they do these things, it's a visual cue, right? Not everything is in time when it's in that situation. So, the more you know the song, the more you'll be close to hitting where that actual hit is. But basically, nice cymbal choke there. So quickly, cymbal choke is bass drum and crash. So basic hit, but then you're going to use your left hand to choke it after you hit it. Don't do it at the same time where that's going to happen. Let it breathe a bit, but that's just cymbal choke, like Eye of the Tiger. Right? So for this video, I would slow it down and take each part one at a time. Have the song ready, and once you learn all the parts, you'll be able to put them together. If you ever get into a snag, remember the forms I discussed multiple times throughout the video. And the triplet part is going to be the trickiest, but once again, I'll break down the triplet part. So it'd be 1, 2, triplet, 3. Sorry. So I'll break down the triplet part for you. 1, 2, triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4. So triplet. Bass drum crash, snare. Triplet. So 1, 2, triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's a 4-bar section of the chorus. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did teaching it to you. And good luck. Remember to trust your instincts and, listening to the song and learning the song just by, listening to the song is going to be your best friend. It's not all about the drums. Listen to the guitar, listen to the vocals, because those are going to be very helpful in knowing the way the song's flowing. So, thank you for watching.